Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of F1 Career Mode here on the channel. Hope you're all having a great day. Today we have the most prestigious race in Formula 1. It's the Monaco Grand Prix coming your way as we continue to try and develop upgrades for this car. We've got a large amount of upgrades coming to our Williams in the coming races. As you can see, of course, Max Verstappen top of the driver's standings, fresh off of George Russell capitalizing on some Devin Butler chaos last episode, where actually, surprisingly, the FIA came out and announced this week, to my surprise anyways, that Devin Butler actually got 2 penalty points added to his license. Of course, you need 12 within like a 12-month span, of course, to get an actual race ban. Butler has been given 2 penalty points to his license there, so he needs to accumulate 10 more still. A bit surprising because I felt like obviously he spun the car around, but he kept himself stationary and didn't really do anything egregious. But nonetheless, it is what it is for Devin Butler. We continue into the weekend and focus in on our activities here in Monaco. I feel like this is a weekend where we can capitalize, maybe not only for myself, but as a team as a whole. But I really do think this is an opportunity to maybe score our first points of the season if we can capitalize on some certain opportunities. Weather is supposed to play a factor as well throughout this weekend on Sunday, specifically in the Grand Prix. So I think overall there's going to be some opportunity here this weekend, and of course it all starts with getting a very strong qualifying effort. Qualifying, of course, is everything when it comes to the Monaco Grand Prix weekend. So we ended free practice 1. I was pretty happy overall with this Williams. Alex Albon P11 on the board. As you can see, Ocon, Butler, Ackerman all there just behind him. Leclerc and P9 on the mediums, but we were P20 dead last on the medium compound tire, coming through now into Saturday afternoon qualifying time, and hoping, like I said, just for I would say a Q2 entrance again is very possible for us. Of course, you never know how traffic's going to be here in Monaco. Traffic management very important to everywhere, but especially at a track like Monaco. Nonetheless, our goal is simple. Like I said, let's try to aim for Q2. We come through to kick things off in Q1 though, and focusing in on just getting around here as quick as we can without knocking the wheels or the front wing off of this Williams. Now, we've made a couple of mistakes so far as a Williams rookie. I mean, specifically in Imola. Last time out it was pretty rough there. Things didn't quite go the way we had wanted it to. As we come towards the tail end of this first lap around the final turn, overall felt okay. I felt like there was room for improvement. I was currently the slowest of anybody that had gone, so I immediately hook it up for a second lap, and we found a little bit of time, but we also were giving up some time, and then we would find some more, and we actually eventually find about 4/10, and then I throw it away in the second to last corner. Final turn, I throw even more away, so we only gained about a 1/10 and a half, not even to the line. We go P8 beating Butler and Ocon, but I knew we were going to have to make another lap. So at the end of the session, myself and Albon 17th and 19th. I'm just in front of Max Verstappen right here, but I wasn't really finding any time until about Sector 2. We find about a 1/10 of a second here as we head into the tunnel behind Yuki Tsunoda, just kind of using him as a guide, but I clipped the barrier with my left rear wheel. That puts us back in the red now. It looks like we're not going to make it. Albon still 19th, myself 18th, Ocon, and 20th. Ricardo Stroll just in front of us, but it's the final couple of corners where we find the time. We made mistakes there on the last lap, and we find 2/10 nearly of a second. We do find 2/10 to the line. Is that enough to put us into Q2? Yes, it is. It's going to put us all the way up into 12th place. 2/10 of a second puts us from outside of Q1 to comfortably into Q2. Albon only manages 19th place. Ricardo is out, while his teammate of Yuki Tsunoda will join him a few spots ahead, however, in 16th place. It's a one lap and done situation here in Q2. We have one set of fresh, soft compound tires, and just make the most out of it now as we went P12 suddenly in Q1. Can we maybe do the same here in Q2? Valtteri Bottas, Gasly, Butler all in front of us, Ackerman in P11. We know the Haas team, they brought some upgrades last episode that have really put them in a solid position coming into Imola and into this weekend as well here from Monaco. Now, as overall, again, it felt like a decent lap. It wasn't an incredible lap by any means here as we come through the back chicanes here on the backside of the circuit. Now heading into the final couple of corners, getting it right against the barrier on the right, then to the left, one turn to go, and we're going to hook it up pretty well. DRS now with that rear wing open, hard on the gas to the line. It's going to be P12 again, and the lap would stick we will start a career best 12th position in Monaco. What a qualifying effort here. Ackerman, myself, Gasly, Butler, and Bottas all out. But we cannot complain about that. P12 here for the Monaco Grand Prix, setting ourselves up nicely for what's going to be a wet start here on Sunday afternoon. Let's head to the grid and get ready to go.
A proper road race, and in the true meaning of the word. That's how Mr. Monaco, the late great Graham Hill, once described this iconic event. The cars we drive have come a long way in the intervening half-century, but still we race on those same public roads beside the Mediterranean. There's no victory more coveted than that of the Monaco Grand Prix. We already see the lowest average speeds of the season here at the Circuit de Monaco, and they'll be even lower in the difficult conditions today. 19 corners make up this famous 2-mile track, and with the rain, it'll be even harder than usual to get the critical heat into the tyres. So don't be surprised if we see a safety car at some point during today's Grand Prix. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and Oscar Piastri completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Hamilton, Sainz, Leclerc, Perez, Fernando Alonso, Hülkenberg, Ackerman, Golden Boy, Norris, Gasly, Butler, Bottas, Ricciardo, Albon, Ocon, Tsunoda, and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So we are ready to go racing, starting on the intermediate compound tire. Based off the forecast right now, it looks like it could be raining for about half the Grand Prix. We'll wait and see how true that is as we get ready to roll. Verstappen on pole position.
Right then, the formation lap has started, and I must say the weather conditions aren't the best today for visibility and for grip. As each driver performs this lap, they'll be wanting to settle in and concentrate, as this race, in these conditions, will require a lot of focus.
Alonso P8, while his teammate Lance Stroll all the way down in 20th place here. It's going to be a very difficult day for the second Canadian on the grid here in Monaco.
So as all the cars reform the grids, the drivers will be hoping to get a strong start. They'll want to earn some valuable points from today's race, with final communications being done with their race engineers, ensuring the planned strategies are all in place.
Okay, mate, none of that heroic stuff into turn one, please.
Mark, you see the weather out here, you're crazy if you think I'd even attempt that. So then, we're ready to roll here from Monaco. It's a wet start here. It's not, the worst weather in the world. It's just a light rain. Steady, of course, but Max Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris takes a grid penalty. He starts down the grid. But yeah, you got Verstappen, Piastri, Russell here in the top three. Of course, Monaco, the last place. You want to take a grid penalty. It's going to be a difficult day for Lando Norris. But how will the strategy differ with the weather changing? That's going to be an opportunistic opportunity for everybody. What a combo of words. Nonetheless, we're racing here from Monaco. Verstappen gets off all into turn one. Piastri side by side with Russell. In the background, you got Hamilton under pressure from both the Ferraris. Piastri stays ahead of Russell for second place now, as Verstappen already gets away comfortably over the field as we head up the elevation through the streets of Monaco. Home for Charles Leclerc. Can he impress in front of the home crowd? He won this race in real life in 2024. Can he do it in the career mode as well? It's going to be a long journey ahead for him. In the background, I'm making a move up the inside of the Hulk. Nico Hülkenberg on the left, myself on the right as we head into the slowest corner on the opening lap in Formula 1 here now through the hairpin. Myself and Hülkenberg actually is going to run us wide. We have to back out of it as we would have very much potentially been in the barrier. Now side by side with Lando Norris, who's trying to capitalize on me having to lift now, as we're going to be wheel to wheel on the exit of the right-hander through the tunnel, getting on that dry surface hard on the throttle, but the McLaren pace stays up alongside the inside as we head down towards the bus stop chicane. Norris sails it off in there. I try to beat him, but no, I outbrake myself, and now we're going to have to concede the position. Norris goes through. We take a warning for corner cutting as well. I just outbraked myself trying to stay ahead of the McLaren. Didn't quite work, so Norris through into P11. We drop down into P12. So basically back to where we began here in this Grand Prix. Now as we head into the final couple of corners, overall outside of that moment, a bit of a sketchy opening winning lap as well, with Hulkenberg and myself in the hairpin, but we survived lap 1 without any damage. That's the one positive, putting pressure on Norris immediately on the run down towards turn 1. He locks up and he misses the apex. We take the position back from the British driver. Now Norris not going to be impressed with himself, and he would lose a position in the process to fellow Rookie of the Year contender Devin Butler. So myself and Butler P11, P12 on lap number 2 of this Monaco Grand Prix. The rain steadily coming down, but it's not going to last that long, as I'm still slipping and sliding a little bit, setting my sights now on Hulkenberg. Verstappen long gone already. We got yellow flags, and it's Ricardo. Ricardo's crashed out on lap 2. Safety car will be deployed. In a season so crucial to the Australian's career and his future in Formula 1, it has not been a hot start, but fortunately it's early in the year. You see the replay, he did it all on his own. Self-spin and a very terrible position now as we are navigating our way around the safety car. Eventually we will all get caught up here to the back of the field and get ready to go back racing here. It's not going to be that long of a hold, of course, but Max Verstappen out in front over Piastri, Russell, Hamilton, Sainz, Leclerc, Alonso, Perez, and then the pair of Haas cars, Casper Ackerman in his final Monaco Grand Prix. Nico Hulkenberg there, P10, just behind his Haas teammate. Those two were going back and forth quite a bit in Imola, as Max Verstappen in control, though nonetheless he leads the field back to green as he looks to get back on the top step of the podium. We're right on the back of Hulkenberg there, kind of caught him at an awkward time, so we can't really pounce on anything now as we head down into turn 1. We have a nice comfortable gap already on Butler. I nearly did a Lando Norris and missed my braking zone in turn 1. That could have been bad very quickly, but fortunately we keep it out of the barrier, still make the corner, and hold on to our track position that we continue here in this 11th position behind the pair of Haas cars. Now slipping and sliding around this circuit, but overall, actually taking some underbody damage here towards the end of lap 6, running up over the curbing. But I was just going to say, overall, a good start to the race, considering some of the kind of chaos and sketchiness that we've been involved in right off the bat. Here's Pierre Gasly at the end of lap 6. He was serving a drive-through penalty in his Alpine for a violation under safety car. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was some kind of safety car violation that he committed, bringing him into the pit lane now as we're putting pressure on the back of Hulkenberg. No opportunity to pass, unfortunately, until right there. He misses the apex, locks up, we slip through on the inside, and for the first time in our Formula 1 career, into the points. Now the question is, can we hold on? I think we can. It's Monaco. I mean, it's so difficult to pass, and then you make it a wet race. As long as you're not missing corners, you're going to be even harder to pass. But we know the rain's going to stop, and the rain has stopped here now on lap 8, so it's just a matter of time until we find ourselves pitting for a dry compound tire. Verstappen opening up a gap to Piastri, who's doing a great job nonetheless in P2 right now. Lando Norris, his teammate, not even thinking about points right now. He's got some work to do now. Lap 10 actually picking up some more underbody damage.
Okay, the underbody is damaged here. Please avoid the curbs when you can.
Mark just giving us a little bit of a heads up, or a hey, like, avoid the curbs, because obviously you've now done 2 bits of underbody damage to the underbody, of course, by running over those curbs in the same chicane right there in the back part of the circuit now, and you can see it on the screen right there. And our tire wear is quite high right now as well, 48% on both the rear tires now. On lap 12 though, DRS enabled. The leaders are electing to stay on the racetrack here now, as myself, we've made a mistake and we've actually knocked the front wing off. I need a box. I've knocked the wing.
Okay, box now, box now.
Maybe perfect timing, because here comes Ackerman and others, and we are transitioning into a dry tire, so this might not be the end of the world. We're going to lose time, of course, replacing the front wing. I knocked the wing, but like I said, that's probably the best time. It's never good to replace it, but that is the best timing to do it. So we're going to come in and get that front wing replaced. There goes Ackerman now, so you're going to see the time lost. Question is, will we lose any more positions to anybody? The answer is no. We're going to come out just in front of Nico Hulkenberg here. That works out pretty well. Esteban Ocon pitting as well. But yeah, that works out pretty well for us, and we'll wait and see how these others get on, because now we should be able to gain some time on this hard compound tire. The goal is to take these hards from lap 13 all the way to the completion of lap 39 here to finish out this Monaco Grand Prix. So we're going to have to be, making sure that we take care of these tires to an extent. We're not going to have to watch them too much here now, as Max Verstappen is pitting at the end of lap 13. He's going to be bringing in Piastri, Russell, Hamilton. I'm sure everybody's going to be boxing that hasn't boxed on this lap now. Verstappen is going to have to stay stationary now. Here comes the Mercedes, here comes the Ferraris. He's still not leaving, and now he's going to get boxed in by the Ferraris.
What the is this?
Verstappen not happy on the radio, and not surprising because he's lost several positions. Piastri is going to get the lead over Russell, Sainz. Hamilton, Verstappen will exit in 5th after coming in as the leader. Alonso 6th, Leclerc as well kind of gets stuck behind in 7th, and then Valtteri Bottas stayed out on intermediate compound tires and would back up all the cars behind Piastri and Russell, and that was Sainz, Hamilton, Verstappen, Alonso, Leclerc, all of these guys. And eventually Bottas makes it to the end of lap 14 and comes into the pits, and these guys can kind of be set free, but that allows Piastri and Russell to have about a 7.5 second advantage on 3rd place on back. Now, as that was all happening, I was out here in P11 right now, so we are now outside of the points currently, but Valtteri Bottas had not pitted yet for me at this point, so he's going to be coming in, and that will be putting us back into the top 10. Meanwhile, Lando Norris is just behind myself in that 11th position. As you can see now, Bottas, after his pit stop, we did move, in fact, up into the top 10 again here now. So we maintain 1 point as we're not quite halfway through this Grand Prix yet, but it's been a bit of a hectic Grand Prix so far here in Monaco, but now the track is drying at a continuous and steady rate. It should start to kind of calm down a little bit here now as we're kind of separated from the cars in front. Ackerman right now 5.8 seconds up the road. We got Lando Norris breathing down our neck right now. Of course, the McLaren's way faster than us. I mean, there's a McLaren out in front right now with Oscar Piastri, and as long as he doesn't do something silly, or as long as there's no mechanical failure, which we've seen him have this season, he should be able to win this Grand Prix. I mean, it's going to be nearly impossible for George Russell to pass him. Russell has been absolutely capitalizing this season on the misfortune of other drivers. He's got 2 wins. Of course, he capitalized in Australia on the misfortune of Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen having his issues, Hamilton as well. Last episode, he capitalized on the misfortune of Leclerc again, and Verstappen and Hamilton all getting caught up in that mess in Imola, and here he is again capitalizing on, for what would be the 3rd time, Max Verstappen being involved in some form of misfortune, and now here he is in 2nd place. It's not a win like the other 2, but still it's going to be a day where he gains some points over the championship leader. Russell is the capitalizing driver of the season so far, and putting himself in the mix, in the battle, even when Mercedes maybe shouldn't quite be there, but nonetheless, I mean, you can't, understate enough how great of a job he is doing right now in that Mercedes so far this season. But today it doesn't look like it's going to be a win. Nonetheless, for me, Casper Ackerman trying to run him down. He's 3.2 seconds up the road. We are closing in as I clip the barrier there on the right side. Lando Norris just behind myself still. I can't drive away from the McLaren, but I can certainly reel in the Haas here today. Now Ackerman, his final Monaco Grand Prix, would love to score points, but he is going to have to hang on over myself there in P9. I would love to get 2 points here as we look to score our very first points in Formula 1. Is now 15 laps to go, coming to 14, and we're within 2 seconds now of the Dutchman as we continue on. Lap 28, 1.5 seconds. We're closing every single lap, just here and there, little bits and pieces, and that's allowing me to start to put the pressure on the seasoned veteran now as Norris continues to just kind of lurk behind. I'm not really feeling pressure from him. As we come to 10 laps to go, we'll go through the grid.
10 laps remain in what's been a hectic Monaco Grand Prix. Oscar Piastri is in position to score his first win if he can go mistake-free to the end.
Meanwhile, his teammate Lando Norris is stuck in 11th and not very happy about it.
This sucks, man. I can't do anything, guys.
Very straight to the point from Norris. Verstappen down in 5th place after being in total control before the pit stop sequence.
Red Bull aren't going to be happy with how this has played out. They looked great in the first opening rounds, but now it's clear this is not going to be a walk in the park for them like the last 2 years have been. Mercedes and now McLaren are showing they can compete.
Perez down in 8th place as well, a subpar day for him. How about Owen in 10th, looking to score his first points and also the first points on the year for Williams.
A great drive from the young Canadian, to say the least. He's having a great rebound race after his self-spin last time out in Imola.
This is the type of rebound drive you want from a young driver. He's showing early promise.
Pierre Gasly at the back of the grid with Lance Stroll. Valtteri Bottas. Stroll's gone nowhere throughout this Grand Prix. He's passed one car, and that was because he had to do a drive-through penalty. That was Gasly. The other car he passed crashed into a barrier. It's been a pretty abysmal day for the Canadian now as we maintain this 10th position. But now we're about to be in DRS range of Casper Ackerman. Piastri was actually passing these lap cars now of Gasly, Stroll, as well as Bottas. But this is the only opportunity George Russell has to capitalize, and it's just not going to work out, of course. Now, Piastri getting through on the Aston Martin. Really, actually, Russell's losing ground here. He's now 2 seconds behind Piastri, so that actually worked out in favor of the Australian. Both McLaren drivers starting this storyline in 2024 have no wins to their career. Could Piastri get his first career win before Lando Norris, while Norris continues to struggle behind myself in P11? You heard his frustration on the radio there and through the grid. Nothing he can do, nothing I'm going to do to allow him to get past me now as we reel in the Dutchman of Casper Ackerman. A bit of a tail whip on the exit of the chicane, but no big deal. We continue to put the pressure on the Haas. 51% on both rear tires. Now, they've consistently worn the same rate all race long. They did it on the inters. They're doing it on the hards as well. But we're going to come back around one more time and have five laps to try and make a pass on Casper Ackerman. I think the door of opportunity is going to open up here. Now, 5 laps to go here from Monaco. Perez in P8. Not been a good day for him. He got that one win earlier in the season in Jeddah, but it hasn't been the greatest since then here. Now, of course, he is in a contract year, so we'll have to wait and see how that works out for Perez as we continue to try and put the pressure on the back of the Haas. We've had some pretty opportunistic moments with drivers in front of us on the turn 1 apex actually locking up, missing the corner, making it a bit easy for me, but look at the exit we get coming to 4 laps to go. DRS, this might be the one and only opportunity to pass Ackerman. We're going to try and pin it around the outside, side by side through turn 1. We keep it fair, both sides now. Continue wheel to wheel. We clip the barrier, use the battery, up the elevation now. Who's going to come out on top now? We lean on Ackerman, avoiding contact. He runs wide, nearly into the barrier. We leave him a groove to make it work, but we go around the outside, and we take the 9th position. And now we can try and run away from Ackerman here over the course of these final few laps of racing in this Monaco Grand Prix into the 9th position. 2 points to our name. A team that hasn't scored points all season, looking for our first points in our Formula 1 career, and now in position to do it. 3 laps to go when we've opened up a full second advantage over Ackerman. Norris can't do anything with Ackerman either now, as it's all Oscar Piastri in control in these closing moments as well of this Monaco Grand Prix. Russell has been reeling him back in, but he's not going to be able to do anything at all in these final couple of laps without a little bit of help. Maybe Piastri making some form of mistake, but I don't think that's going to happen either now as we come through the very slow hairpin with 2 laps to go. White flag is in the air for Oscar Piastri now as we just try and bring this car home at this point and maintain P9. White flag in the air for us. We did have a bit of wing damage on the left side. I did knock it a little bit here starting this final lap, though nonetheless we just got to make sure our car can't get past. Place ourselves in a convenient position now as we know these guys are not done battling with us yet. Ackerman has reeled us in at the start of this final lap, now within 0.4 of a second of us here, but he's not going to have any opportunity to pass us right here now as Oscar Piastri rounds the final turn. He's going to be the first of between him and Norris to get their first career wins, and it comes in Monaco.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. Thanks for the coordination.
I do believe that we're going to be a lot more excited than Oscar Piastri when we win our first Formula 1 race, but we still need to hang on as I've actually made a mistake and knocked the right side of the wing. Both sides of the front wing damaged here as we just have to ease this car to the end. Casper Ackerman right on the back of us as we head into the penultimate turn. He runs into the back of us and damages his wing. That was a NASCAR style move, but he actually lifts and lets us have it. Respect and sportsmanship from the elder statesman to the line. 2 points to our name in Formula 1. Let's go, guys. Come on. 2 points. We'll take it. Thank you, Casper, as well. Very sportsmanlike from him there. He could have gone through. Thank you, guys, so much. Unbelievable day.
Let's go, Gary. Driver of the day as well. Beautiful drive, buddy. First of many points to come.
What a fantastic Grand Prix that was, and an excellent win for McLaren.
What a drive, Oscar Piastri. Just, you know, I mean, obviously, the unfortunate situation for Verstappen and that whole pit lane chaos. I mean, put Piastri in position, but it doesn't matter how you get there. He still put himself in position to be there, to be the one that favored out of all of that happening, and he was able to capitalize perfectly, keep the car on the road, and survive. That was the big thing. Navigate some lap traffic. Great drive from Piastri, his first career win in Formula 1. Lando Norris going to have to wait a little bit longer. Unfortunate for Lando. But McLaren is certainly saying, hey, we got a car capable of winning races here by the time we get to Monaco. Maybe we can sneak into the mix here, as Verstappen still certainly, and Red Bull showing that they can definitely throw some races now. We've seen a couple races now where both of their cars are not on the podium here recently. So this is not going to be any casual walk in the park for Red Bull, and Verstappen. His quest for 4 consecutive titles, it is not going to be easy. He's 5th in the Grand Prix there. Perez only manages P8, just a really mediocre day for Perez as well. Ricciardo with the only DNF. Our teammate of Albon only manages P16 here. Now, he's really been fumbling some of these starts, and then it just seems to set him back here. Now, looking at the standings, Verstappen still is at the top by 21 points over Russell. Perez in P3, but I can see him continuing to fade. Leclerc signs Piastri to follow with Hamilton, Norris, Alonso, and how about Yuki Tsunoda there in P10, while Ricciardo has yet to score a point. Ricciardo needs to step up his game. Williams still maintains P9 as we score the first 2 points for the team. Red Bull 42 points ahead of Mercedes. I'll see you guys in the next one, where we take these points and momentum to home in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.